AI has created a new opportunity that 6 and 7-figure business owners are already leveraging to explode sales without needing to generate any more leads. If you're watching this, you're probably a business owner, and you've probably got a high ticket offer where you're charging at least $3,000, and you've probably got a pretty decent sales team. You've got all of these prospects lying dormant in your funnel that you're not reaching out to. I've done a lot of research into marketing funnels, and in this video, I'm going to share how you can harness some of the disruptions brought by AI to transform your marketing funnel and explode sales. If we haven't met, I'm Dec. I'm in the tech business. I've previously worked on AI consulting projects at Google, OpenAI and Zoom, at one of the UK's leading startups, and I'm ex-Salesforce Marketing Cloud and IBM. Working on EngageWave OS has led me to speak with lots of different entrepreneurs. Unsurprisingly, over 90% of the businesses I've spoken with, even the most chilled out lifestyle founders, were focused on growing their revenue and the amount of sales their businesses make. But here's the thing. To achieve this growth, nearly all of them focus on spending a ton of money on ads, testing endless lead magnets, and refining the front end of their funnel and close process. All of which makes sense. In the age of Alex Hormozi's $100 million offers, where so many people focus on making an irresistible offer and then proceeding to underdeliver, having a good product or service is one of the best ways to differentiate yourself. Let me put this into perspective. I was window shopping for cars the other day, giving myself some motivation to keep going, I went into a Volkswagen dealership, bear with me, and was met with two exceptionally aggressive salespeople competing to act as my sales rep. Both wanting to tell me about the functions and features of the different cars, collect my contact details, understand my budget, what I was looking for, and then trying to create a sense of urgency to book me into a test drive. I also went into a Ferrari garage. The experience was chalk and cheese. The showroom was immaculate and their cars were well presented, just like in the Volkswagen garage. But here's the thing, the sales staff were hard to find. And when I did manage to find one of them, they were distant and almost rude. The rep I was speaking with acted like they owned a fleet of Ferraris, and they were doing me a favour by bestowing information about the car to a mere mortal like me. If I'm honest, if I was ever to buy a Ferrari, which one day hopefully I might, or at least get to drive one in a tuxedo around Cannes, which for me is a real dream, I'd probably want to engage with the warmest and most helpful member of staff. But speaking with that cold, nonchalant rep didn't diminish the Ferrari brand in my eyes. It still seems just as luxurious and extravagant and aspirational as before I went in. Now, this is probably a reflection of me and the demographic I sit in. If you think about it, in certain multi-millionaire circles, a Ferrari is nothing more than a weekend plaything. And in certain beatnik socialist communes, it's a despicable means of flaunting wealth that reflects everything wrong with society. But I don't want to get sidetracked. Coming back to the business owners I was speaking with for the system I've been building, and their sales process, what kept surprising me is that one of the greatest opportunities to explode sales was sitting right under their noses, and it was nearly always untapped. To put this new opportunity that AI has opened up into perspective, we need to think through the 3 key areas that a marketing funnel is typically split into. The top of the marketing funnel is where potential customers become aware of your brand and offers. It's a stage where you cast the widest net, using broad targeting and messaging to reach a large audience. Even if you segment and target more focused markets at this stage, you'll still get a wide range of people viewing your ads or content. When creating these YouTube videos, for example, I try to think about broad, far-reaching topics in my top-of-funnel content that would appeal and attract a wide audience. Then, of course, there's middle-of-funnel marketing, which is obviously the stage between top and bottom, which interestingly is often neglected. At this stage, potential customers are aware of your brand and have already expressed an interest in what you have to offer, otherwise they wouldn't have reached this stage. However, it's likely that they're not yet ready to make a purchase. Most prospects will be considering their options and looking for more information to help them make an informed decision. And then of course there's the bottom of funnel stage, which is the stage where potential customers are ready to make a purchase decision. It's at this stage that businesses typically use highly targeted messaging to convince their customers to choose their product or service. And ideally, you want your sales reps or closers, if you have them, to be engaging and speaking with your bottom of funnel leads and prospects. So with that in mind, how has generative AI created a new opportunity? And what even is it? Well, a lot of the businesses I've spoken with often have thousands of people or leads in their CRM that are aware of their brand and the solution, but have gone cold and didn't go on to buy. Middle of funnel leads. Some of them maybe downloaded a lead magnet or were scanned at a conference. Maybe some attended a webinar or signed up to a newsletter. Now, I imagine you've got a pretty good sales team and some solid marketing systems in place already. But I'm almost certain your sales team don't have the time and capacity to reach out to the thousands of people in your database, to build relationships and provide value-focused conversation experiences at scale. And this is where some business owners are turning to AI. Building trust through education and delivering value is difficult, if not impossible to accomplish when you rely solely on human leverage. Something we're going to come back to in a minute. Once a system understands more about the prospects it's engaging with, it can then send that data back into your CRM to ensure you have a more complete set of data and insight about your prospect. Imagine you run a business that helps women lose weight. One of your prospects is a busy female CEO, the other is a single mum that's just had a baby. The end result they're looking for is the same, to lose weight. But the female CEO probably has a higher budget and will be looking for a more bespoke program to fit around her busy schedule. Whereas the single mum that's just given birth will most likely have a smaller budget and also a very different set of needs from a product that has been designed to get her the same result. These AI-powered systems are able to engage with both prospects, understand their needs and the transformation they're looking for, their budget and background, and then make a recommendation of the most effective product or encourage them to take an appropriate next step. For example, encourage them to speak with a sales rep, attend a webinar, or maybe follow a free course or download a white paper. If they're not the right fit, you can offer a value-focused lead magnet or asset to nurture them until they're a good fit. Of course, whether you do actually go on to make a sale with them there, then and then, or you don't, providing value over a sustained period of time, no matter what the platform or medium, is a great way of building genuine connection and authority with your appropriate fans and kind of ultimately building a stronger and better relationship. My experience is that businesses are typically primed to deliver prospect interactions at the top and bottom of funnel, where the new leads come in and when the close happens. And the messy middle is often neglected. And as a result, businesses are not serving their customers effectively as they could, and they're leaving money on the table. In the conversations I've had today, I found that business owners and sales leaders typically neglect the messy middle for 3 reasons. The first is limited time. Business owners and sales reps don't have time to educate, build trust, and deliver value for thousands of prospects. The second is limited team size. Business owners and sales leaders typically don't have teams large enough to provide value for prospects at this stage in the funnel. And the third one, they wouldn't always admit straight away. But when digging a little deeper, I found that the third issue at play was confidence. Sometimes business owners and sales reps lack the confidence to nurture and build trust with their middle of funnel prospects. I think this is because personalizing the journey for each prospect at scale has felt impossible until now. Through AI-powered conversation experiences, businesses are able to understand the customer profile they're speaking with and the transformation they're looking to achieve, before making an appropriate suggestion for the next step that they should take. Are these AI conversational experiences as effective as a founder or highly trained member of staff in representing a product or service to your potential prospects? Well, not all the time, but they're already a lot better than people anticipate when prompted correctly. Unless you spent a lot of time studying prompt engineering, which is the art and science of giving generative AI systems like ChatGPT and Claude instructions, you can't compare the output you've got from playing around with these different systems compared to something that's been properly prompted. When properly prompted, the systems can communicate in an effective way with your prospects that sounds like a real human or in a tone of voice that is relevant or reflective of your brand. And most importantly, they can provide value and strengthen relationships with prospects you'd otherwise ignore. So what is it about these AI-powered conversation experiences for middle-of-funnel prospects that makes them so impactful? Well, Naval Ravikant said, "It doesn't take money to make money, it takes leverage to make money." And as we move further forward into the age of AI, I think this statement is going to resonate more and more. So let me explain using this funky little overhead camera and diagram that I've got here. So Naval said that within your company, there's higher forms of leverage and then lower forms of leverage. So that's, of course, ways of amplifying your impact. At the bottom, down here, as the lowest form of leverage or amplification of impact, you've got labor. That's pretty interesting because obviously if we think about different traditional companies, a lot of people anyway tend to kind of think about the size and number of employees as a representation of how impactful or big or meaningful the company is. Next up, we've got capital. So that's money in the bank. When I worked at IBM, for example, they actually have a bank, so they'd offer finance services to customers, but also they'd have a team making investments and doing, to be honest with you, I don't actually know what they did, but they were managing a huge amount of capital, which is being used as an asset to make more money for the organization. And then at the top, up here, we've got code and also media. Now, the saying seems to go, and the theory seems to go, that as we're moving more and more towards this AI revolution, the code and media are the highest forms of leverage, and then going to become more and more impactful moving forward, because essentially they're infinitely scalable. Whereas labor, of course, is bound by the amount of people working within your organization and their ability to handle different tasks. Capital, again, is bound by the amount of capital you've got and where you can put it, whereas code and media are seen to be infinitely scalable. Interestingly as well, they kind of separate these two out here, and they describe the ones at the bottom as being permissioned, i.e. you're bound by certain laws and governed in certain ways, whereas the ones at the top here are permissionless. So you don't need any permission for those, where you do the ones at the bottom. There seems to be a lot of hype and a lot of people as well talking around the concept that there'll be the first billion-dollar company which is owned and run by one person, and they'll be using AI agents and media as high forms of leverage to amplify their scale and impact. I buy into it, and I kind of see definitely that code and media seem to be really high leverage and high value assets to put into your organization. But I think, like I say, we're just on the cusp of this really becoming a reality. But I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts, genuinely. Obviously, this AI solution I've been working on revolves a lot around code and media as kind of high forms of leverage. So in my eyes, this makes it quite impactful and something which organizations and companies that use are going to be on the right foot of. But we're obviously in the early stages of this, and so I'm genuinely really interested to hear what you guys think. I'm also halfway through a book by Dan Priestley called 24 Assets. I haven't finished it yet, but from what I've read, he talks a lot about the different assets that support the construction of a business and that make it more valuable. And in my mind, these AI systems that you can build once and then run forever acts as a good asset for your business too. The old system was to throw your capital after employees, preferably experienced, driven, and high-performing ones. Whereas leveraging code and media enables you to do a lot more work and make a lot more impact with less physical hands on keyboards or people actually doing the work, and therefore, in theory, scale infinitely. But like I said, I'd love to hear what you guys think. I've done a lot of research into some of the different AI-powered systems that are being implemented by businesses today. You can watch me break them down and cut through the fluff here. Thanks, and I'll see you there. Peace!